Hello, and welcome to Getting We're Going Healing, a place where we talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being to help you learn to let go of the things that are holding you back from being your best, your greatest, your most authentic you. My name is Tova, and I will be your guide. So today I'd like to do a reading. This one came to me this morning while I was listening to someone else's reading. And what's been going on in my life has been pretty intense. We've had a lot of astrological shifts lately. From an astrological standpoint, not that long ago, we had Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, shift into Aquarius, which is the sign of innovation, going against the grain, new ideas, new things, new ways of doing things, unconventional ways of doing things. So that tells me there is a shift happening in general for the collective. And it's a shift that has been a big shift for our society, a big shift for our culture. And I have a feeling it's going to be far-reaching, but it's also on an individual level. So I felt called to pull cards today for messages of love and support from God. Now, if you are someone who has an aversion, let's say, to the word God, then feel free to substitute source, divine, spirit, higher self, whatever term resonates the best for you, substitute that word in. Because God is all of those things. God is your higher self. God is spirit. God is divine. God is source. God is the creator. All of those things. But I felt specifically called to use the word God. So if this is something that doesn't resonate for you, that's fine. I have much more content that you can check out if this one isn't for you. That's fine. All right. So for those that this is for you, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So we're going to pick from 3 cards, and then I'm going to put down some stones as well that might help you choose, okay? All right, angels, guides, ancestors, spirits of most high, God, angels, ascended masters, please help me choose the piles. Where am I choosing these piles from, please? All right. They've called me to the Heal Yourself deck. Now, as you can see on the screen, I have lots of decks. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 decks and a set of runes. When I pull cards, I pull them from wherever I feel called to, of whatever decks I feel called to pull from for the messages for you. So there's not just one deck, there's multiple decks. Okay, some of them are tarot, some of them are oracle. Some of them are card games. The messages come from all kinds of crazy places. Okay, so we're not going to look at the cards before we do them. We're just going to choose 3 cards. One more shuffle, they said. All right. 3 cards, please. 3 cards. Okay. Just 2. One more card, please. One more card, please. Thank you. All right. So we're going to lay them out like this. 3 cards, 3 piles, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put down some crystals. Hang on. All right, so for pile number 1, we have, I believe this is an opal. Opal or moonstone. I'm truly not sure. If anyone knows, please put it in the comments. Okay, for pile number 1. Pile number 2, we have this fossil of a snail shell. Okay. And for pile number 3, I believe this is an Adventurine. I'm going to list it as an Adventurine, but again, I'm not entirely certain. If someone in the comments knows, please let me know and I'll adjust it accordingly. Okay? All right. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. So whichever pile is your pile, you can find that listed in the description box and jump to your pile. I'll see you there. All right, so if you chose pile number 1 and the opal or moonstone, then this pile is for you. We're going to set this over here. Let's see what card you got. You got healing. So already your message of love from God is that you are healing. Let's have a look at this card here. So we see this woman. There are no genders on my cards. It's just the energy. So if you're not a female or you're not female presenting or don't identify with female, then this still applies to you. It's just feminine energy, okay? The energy of. So we see this light in her hands and she's staring at the light, which already gives me the message of seeing your light, of seeing the light that is you, seeing your light. And I'm hearing this little light of mine, the church hymn, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I won't let anyone blow it out. I'm going to let it shine. I'm not going to hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So I'm already getting this vibe from this card, for those of you who chose this, that you're beginning to see your light. And by seeing your light is what's helping you heal. Oh, and my cat decided she wanted to chime in on this. She also thinks that you're beginning to heal, okay? So, yeah, this is beautiful. So I'm going to put this card over here. And we're going to pull some more cards. So God, messages of healing, messages of love, messages of support for our beautiful pile number 1 who have the healing card. Where do they need to hear these messages from, please? Okay. My eyes fell to the Tarot of the Divine. Now, this is a new deck for me. And this deck, on each card, there's the card itself, the meaning, and then there's a story, a fable, a folklore tale that goes with each card. So we'll take a look and look them up if necessary, because they'll give more meaning and more guidance to what they're trying to let you know. Okay. All right. I'm just going to adjust my mic here for a second. All right. So what does pile number 1 need to hear? What messages of love do they need to hear? Okay. 4 of Wands. There is a partnership for you, a relationship. Now, I don't know if this is usually the 4 of Wands. This card is depicting a marriage. Okay, this card is depicting a romantic relationship. This is a marriage. Okay, so I don't know if this applies to specifically a marriage, but 4 of Wands can be partnership. Okay, working with others, partnership in general could be a romantic partnership. So with the original card of healing, this tells me there's healing for you within your relationship, within your partnership. Okay, what else do we need to hear? What other messages of love do we need to hear? Okay. King of Coins in reverse. Okay. So let's look at this one. So the King of Coins typically refers to abundance. Excuse me. And so what we see depicted on this card is the story of, I want to say it's the Native American story of the turtle, that the world is actually, the world itself is actually a turtle. And the civilization is built on the turtle's back, the villages and homes. Now, this actually brings up an interesting story. Now, when my son was born, I asked a lot of friends, instead of sending cards, please send books. If it's possible, if you can, that we can build his book collection as bedtime stories. And one of my dear friends sent me a book that was written by children. And it was the story of the turtle that had a kingdom on its back. And the story goes that the turtle was going about its life, but it was lonely and it was doing its thing. And it's this big, massive turtle. And it decided to take a nap for a little bit. It laid down and rested. And it rested for a very, very long time, thousands of years. And in that time that it was resting, because it was stationary, it started to gather dirt and soil on its shell. And then people began to build homes in the dirt and the soil on his shell. And they, as the civilizations grew and the village grew, they began lighting fires and things like that on his shell, which caused him a little bit of pain, but he was okay with dealing with the pain. And then they continued to do things that were for their better good, but they caused harm to the turtle. And eventually it woke him up and he went back into the sea. And as he moved into the sea, the water rose and rose and rose until it destroyed the village. Now, that story talks about the significance behind that story is being honoring of our homeland, taking care of our homeland, not destroying it, damaging it, breaking it, having better care. Okay. So that's what this story brings to mind. Okay. Of this turtle with civilization living on its back. Now, that also makes me think, because everything was living on the turtle's back, the turtle was the one that was putting in its, basically the one that was having the most strife, the one that had the most to lose or to gain, because it was built on his back. So this gives me the impression already of something being built on your back, that you're working on healing. Now, this was in the reverse. So King of Coins typically means abundance, someone who is in control of their finances. This is in reverse. So that right there tells me that you're healing your lack of control over your finances. You're healing your lack in general. And I'm going to say by turning your shell over and letting go of some of the weight that you've had to carry with the turtle in reverse, okay? So the message of love that you're being given here is that you are currently healing your lack mindset. And it might not even just be mindset. It might actually be, you might be in a position of genuine lack, financial lack, material lack. But the healing is coming by you turning over your shell, going into the water and allowing the water to soothe the fire, to soothe the burning, to soothe the pain, and allowing yourself to let go of some of the burdens that you've been carrying. Okay? So that's a message of love from God, is to let go of some of the burden. Ooh, there's the spiritual chills. Yep. Let go of some of the burdens that you've been carrying. Release them. Heal them. Release the feeling of lack. Okay? What else? What other messages do we have? What other messages of love do we have for pile number 1? Okay, thank you. 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay. All right, so 8 of Cups typically is emotionally walking away from things that are no longer serving you. Now, 8 of Cups in reverse usually, to me, would depict that you're choosing to hold on to things that are emotionally harming you. But I also want to read from the book to find out what story it's telling. So let's take a quick look in the book here. it's taking me a minute to find the page. All right. So this is the story of Moses depicted on this card, which is a Hebrew legend from Egypt. The 8 cups represent leaving good things behind in the pursuit of higher ideals. Moses was raised as a prince of Egypt, but realized he needed to sacrifice his royal life and wealth to pursue a spiritual and ascetic one. In the reverse position, it means aimlessness, fear of abandonment, depression, settling, and hopelessness. So, that right there tells me that this, with the original card of healing, the message of love from God is that you are healing your hopelessness. You are healing your fear of abandonment. You are healing your settling for a life that is not the right life for you. You've been settling. You've been settling for what is good enough rather than what is the best for you. And that's something that is healing. And oh, there's the spiritual chills again. What I was about to say before the chills began was that you're being called to live a life that is more authentic for you. You, like Moses, are being called to let go of the life that you have been currently living so that you can choose a life that's more authentic, that's more one of service to yourself, to your higher self, and maybe to those around you. Okay? What other messages of love do we need to hear for pile number 1? Okay. 2 of Cups and Knight of Cups. Okay. So, let's begin with the 2 of Cups. Okay. 2 of Cups is generally about filling your own cup and then blending your cup with someone else's cup. Allowing your emotional state to blend with someone else's emotional state. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean a relationship. It means cups are our feelings. Cups are our emotions. Okay? And then we have the Knight of Cups as well, which is usually about offering your cup of love, offering communication, offering connection with someone. But let's read the stories that are tied to them, okay? So that's already, you've got quite a bit of cups, a lot of emotions for you. Okay, a lot of emotions. All right. So the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is the story of Enkidu and Gilgamesh from Iraq. It's a Sumerian mythology, okay? The 2 of Cups is an ideal relationship that still faces difficulties. Gilgamesh was a tyrant from Enkidu, was a tyrant until Enkidu was created for him, to be his equal in every way. Though their initial meeting was tricky, they came to love each other very much as opposites who complete each other. It means a happy relationship, equality, partnership, attraction, and connection. All right, so this gives me yin-yang vibes, okay? And what I mean by that is if we're familiar with the yin-yang has the lighter energy, which is the yin, and the darker energy, which is the yang. Now, in Eastern understanding, yin is feminine energy, receiving, soft, nurturing, gentle, caring, loving, receiving, being, existing. Yang energy is passion, doing, pushing, creating, making things happen, going out and action, lots of action, getting out, making things happen, right? And in the yin-yang, you've got the yin has elements of the yang, and the yang has elements of the yin, okay? And the meaning behind it is that there must be both, okay? There's both a balance between making things happen, doing, pushing, passion, creation, and calm, relax, nurturing, allowing, receiving, okay? You can't always be pushing and you can't always be receiving. There has to be a back and forth. So this talks about, this already gives me with this, okay, with our original one of Four of Wands. There is a healing happening for you in your relationship where there's going to be more give and take. There's going to be more balance. There's going to be a more healthy balance in relationship, okay? And then we've got the Knight of Cups. Now, we're going to read the story of the Knight of Cups because I'm not sure what story this is, but the Knight of Cups is usually opening your heart to love and to share that message with others, okay? So let's look it up here. So this story is Halabu the Hunter from Mongolia, okay? The Knight of Cups is a messenger. Halabu is kind and gentle while also willing to take a stand for what he believes in. Halabu provides for his village, and after befriending a dragon, he willingly sacrifices himself to save everyone he loves. In the upright position, it is chivalry, affection, initiation, taking action, meaningful gifts. Okay? So these two came out together. So the message this gives me together of a happy, healthy relationship paired with making sacrifices, be willing to take action and making sacrifices, because again, he sacrificed himself for the village. Okay, he made the decision out of love to do what was necessary for the for those that he cared about. Okay, these two together makes me think that somebody is healing and being willing to make the necessary sacrifices for the good of the relationship. So someone, because this is for you, this is your reading, okay, I feel that this is saying that you're being called to make the necessary sacrifices, the emotional sacrifices, in order to move forward in your relationship, in order to create a good, healthy relationship, okay? Any other messages? There's death on the bottom of the deck, change, I was going to say transfiguration. I'm not sure why that's transformation is what I was originally going to say, but transfiguration is what came to mind. And that makes me think of alchemy, which makes me think of you have the power to make things change, because alchemy is changing one thing into another. It's changing like one type of metal into another, or, you know, spiritual alchemy is changing one spiritual thing into another, right? So, when I'm getting that message, transconfiguration, that you have the ability to make these changes. Okay, you have the ability to make these changes happen for you. All right, any other messages of love for pile number 1? Okay, King of Cups. Oh, that's beautiful. King of Cups is in control of his emotions. Again, no gender here. It's just the general vibe of emotions. So the King of Cups is healing, is learning to connect the head and the heart, learning to connect the logical thinking with the emotional thinking. Okay? So with that said, let's have a look at the mythology in the book. So there's another cup. So for you, pile number 1, when you're getting the healing, I feel like this is a lot of emotional healing for you. Okay? So let's have a look at the card. So this is the story of the boy and the dragon pearl from Chinese legend. The King of Cups was once a little boy who has matured into a powerful dragon. He is kind, but fiercely protective of those he loves. He is connected to the deep, dark waters of the subconscious. He possesses great patience and wisdom. In the upright position, this card means devotion, loyalty, faithfulness, wisdom, and generosity. Okay? So for you, pile number 1, when we've got the story of a little boy who grows up and matures into a dragon, this tells me that you are maturing. You are emotionally maturing. Ooh, there's the chills again. Yes, that's the right message. You are emotionally maturing, and you're moving into a place within your relationship of being more focused on the love that can be found, the devotion that can be found, the maturity that can be found. This is telling me that you're moving out of a place where you used to be focused on your own emotional well-being to the detriment of others. Now, this isn't to say that you should find yourself in a position of codependency where you are putting other people's needs above yours to excess, to where your needs are not being met at all. That is not what's being asked for here. What's being asked for is not only just focusing on your needs and forgetting the needs of others. This is maturing from an emotional standpoint to where you are able to give and fulfill yourself and others with the overflow. Okay. Pearls are a symbol of something. If you think about how a pearl is created, okay, think about that for a second. So a pearl is created by a grain of sand getting into a clamshell, and it creates irritation. It's so funny that this is the story that's coming out. Okay, let me tell the story and then I'll tell you why. So a grain of sand gets into a clamshell, and what it does is it creates this coating around the irritation, meant to not be so rough and scratch up and damage and make raw of the clam on the inside. And it continues to coat this little irritant in something like spit, essentially. And it coats it over and over and over until it creates this pearl, and it keeps adding a layer on top of it over and over and over. And by the time we find them, they are pearls. But it began with something that was irritating and was turned into something beautiful. Okay. And what it makes me think of is how we create these elaborate rituals to avoid our pain being hurt, to avoid our wounds being touched. Because we've got these wounds that were given to us in childhood, and we create these elaborate routines and rituals to avoid the pain of that wound being something that we experience. So let's say we have an abandonment wound. Then anytime a partner does anything that makes us feel like they might leave, then we start to get worked up because that wound has been touched, and we create these elaborate routines of having them call and check in on us and tell us exactly where they're going and who they're with and when they're going to be back and all those different things, as a way to try to soothe the agony that comes because we're afraid they're going to leave. We're afraid that they're going to abandon us. And the difference is with the pearl, it's turned it into something beautiful. And I feel like what this is saying is that you've turned, or that you're in the process of turning, something that used to be painful for you into something beautiful. So this relationship where you're learning to give equally, this partnership where you're learning to be connected, I feel like this is saying you come to this point where you're beginning to understand that there is beauty in what was once irritating because you have emotionally matured. And that's beautiful. Pile number 1, that is absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy for you. And death is still on the bottom of the deck. So a transformation happening for you. You are becoming a different person than who you were. You're letting the old version of you die so that you can be this new, greater version. And I mean, if anything isn't healing, that is absolutely the gist of it, is healing. Of allowing yourself to see the pain and transmute that pain into joy, into satisfaction, gratitude. Okay, so there's this big, beautiful message about healing here that we started out with. And it's telling me the same thing over and over. You are healing emotionally, and I am so happy for you. Pile number 1. Okay, Let's get a final message from God for you. A final message of love from God for you. Okay. The Osho Zen deck. All right. Final messages of love from God for pile number 1, please. What's the last messages they need to hear? Yes. So the first card, yes. This is beautiful. Okay. So the message you've got conditioning and you've got possibilities. This is the Devil card. This is 2 of Wands. Okay. So the Devil card, this conditioning card, talks about when you begin to recognize that you are a lion and not a sheep. This is a story of a lion who wore sheep's clothing and tried to fit in with the sheep and couldn't understand why he couldn't be the sheep. Why, no matter how hard he tried, even though he dressed the right way with a sheepskin and he did all the things they did, why he could never just be a sheep. Until one day he met an old lion who showed him his reflection in the water and showed him, you're not a sheep. You are actually a lion. That's why you could never fit in with being a sheep, because you were actually a lion the whole time. And when the lion began to embrace the fact that he was a lion and stop trying to be a sheep, but genuinely be who he was as the lion, he found himself able to see all the possibilities, see all the options available to him, to see that there were more than just these limited ideas of who he thought he had to be and how he thought he had to act and be and look, and what kind of future he thought he was going to have. As a sheep, his future would have been just grazing in the grass and living as all the other sheep did, which felt anticlimactic. But as a lion, all these possibilities open to him, that he could run the fields or climb the trees or hunt or be a leader or do anything he wanted because he was more powerful than he believed that he was. So God is letting you know, you've been trying to let yourself be a sheep. You've been trying to live your life. There's the chills again. You've been trying to live your life in a way that's not authentic to who you are, and it's kept you stuck. As you begin to see that you are not who you thought you were, as you begin to see the truth of who you are, see the truth of the lion you actually are, you see that you have so many more options available to you than you previously thought. There are so many more possibilities open to you. When you realize that you don't have to live the life that you were living, that you were just living someone else's life, and you begin to realize who you actually are, you'll see that there are so many more choices available for you. And as you see those choices, on the bottom of the deck, we have completion, which is the world. That last puzzle piece will fall into place, and the puzzle will be completed. And you will see the truth of the life of who you are and what life you are meant to be in, what path you are meant to walk. Okay? So pile number 1, I hope that this amazing relationship that you've been walking in, I hope that this continues to heal. I hope that you continue to shine your light and to see that you can build that light into a great big fire as you mature and grow and allow yourself to blend with another emotionally, allow yourself to communicate your emotions, allow yourself to see that you are not the version of yourself that you were told you were. You were never, ever the sheep. Ever. Whoever told you that was trying to keep you small. You were never the sheep. Oh, it's actually making me a little emotional. You were never the sheep. You were always the lion. Live your life as a lion. Allow that missing piece to fall into place. Allow yourself to be transformed. Because God is letting you know there's so much more to you than you've ever known. All right, pile number 1. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm a little emotional. It's a beautiful message. And I'm very grateful that God was able to use me to give this message to you. I hope that this helps you. I hope that this helps you to heal as you are healing. And I hope this gives you hope. So if you are looking for more and you would like a personal reading, that's in the description box. If you feel called to, you can leave me a tip or donation, only if you feel called to. And if you are interested in keeping up with these messages and more inspirational content, you can follow me on social media. That will be in the description box as well. If you need more help with your healing path, as you're letting things go and shaking things off your back and letting go of responsibilities that were never yours, you can follow my podcast. It's called Get In, We're Going Healing, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. All right, my beautiful pile number 1. Keep on healing. Keep letting go of those things that are holding you back from being your best, your greatest, your most authentic lion self you. Until next time, love and light. Bye. All right, if you chose pile number 2 and this beautiful fossil seashell, then this is your pile. All right. So we're going to come back to that in a minute. Let's look at your card. You got sexual arts as your card number 33. Okay. So 33 is a master number of completion. 3 is creation. 3 is creativity. Okay. So already from this card, what I'm getting is that there's creativity available to you. Oh, you know what I just noticed? Okay, so here's orange, fiery passion, and here's blue for calm and peace. This is giving me yin-yang vibes. This is giving me masculine, feminine energy, balance between the yin and the yang. The yin being the feminine energy, calm, receiving, peace. The yang being the masculine energy, fiery, passionate, making things happen. Okay, how interesting. All right, so your choice in the shell is interesting. Because first of all, this is a fossil shell. Okay, so a fossil shell being something that was once alive and is no longer, but is preserved for all of eternity in a stone type setting. And the other interesting thing about a shell, and you can see it best in this one, if you know anything about your sacred geometry or any of your, even just science, this shell embodies the Fibonacci sequence. And the Fibonacci sequence is a certain, let me see if I can get better lighting on this to show it to you. So it's the spiral moves at a certain interval. I want to say it's like 3, 6, 9 has to do with the Fibonacci sequence. I don't know it right off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I wish I did. If anyone knows, throw it in the comments, please. But the Fibonacci sequence is the symbol of life. And you'll find it in flower petals. You'll find it in snail shells or various different shells, seashells. You'll find it in multiple different places. And it is the flower of life. It is the symbol of compounding in a very specific manner. So already with getting this card with sexual arts, and again, I'm really getting yin-yang vibes with the number 3, and Fibonacci being symbols of 3, 6, 9, which is derivatives of 3. Okay. And continual growth. I feel like there's going to be some beautiful message of growth and balance in this reading. Let's find out. All right. So for our beautiful pal number 2, with their balance and their balance between masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, what messages of love do they need to hear today? Really? Okay. Okay. We are going to start our messages with the I Am Everything affirmation cards from I Am & Co. Okay. This is an unusual place to start. Usually this is where I give final messages, not from the beginning, but this is where God wants to start for you. All right. Messages of God from God for pile number 2, please. What do you want them to hear? What messages of love do you have for them? Okay. Interesting. You got I Am Focused. Card number 11. Interesting. Also a master number. 11 is wishes, balance. Actually, 1 and 1 is balance. It's also the number known for twin flames. 1111 is often put with 11 or 1111 with twin flames because it's balance, 1 and 1. So the card says, I am focused on achieving my goals through deliberate actions. I take time to feel how it would feel to achieve my dreams. I visualize my desires through a lens of love and happiness. I am focused. That's lovely. And then we have card number 19, which actually works out to be a 10. Interesting. In numerology, 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is the number of completion, endings. I am strong. I am stronger than I think I am. I reject victimhood. My strength is in knowing that all circumstances are temporary. I focus my attention on what's in front of me. I naturally move forward into new phases of life. I am strong. Okay. Those are some beautiful messages of love from God. So let's start. Let's start breaking it down a little bit. So I'm focused. So God is already letting you know if there are goals that you want, why are you waiting? Right? The yin and the yang, the balance between them, the importance between the yin and the yang, and understanding that is there's a balance between waiting for something to happen and taking action towards what you want to happen. The yang is the doing energy. The yang is the passion energy. The masculine energy, it's the making things happen energy. The yin is the receiving. Now, there has to be a give and take. There has to be balance. You can't always be in the hustle mode. Okay? There are some things that are out of your control that you can't make happen, and you have to wait for things to fall into place. You have to wait for the right person to show up. You have to wait for the right opportunity to show up, and then act when it's offered to you. Okay? So, but at the same point, you can't always just be waiting for the opportunity to show up as if the entire thing's going to fall into your lap as it is. There are steps that you need to take to put you in alignment with the thing that you're waiting to receive. You can't just wait. So when you're focused on achieving your goals, like it says, you're taking deliberate action. I take time to feel how it would feel to achieve my dreams. So this is where some of the action can be. It doesn't always have to be taking action in the 3D world. It's visualizing what you want to happen. This is also part of goal setting. Those with neurodiversity tend to struggle with executive functioning. And part of executive functioning is planning out what you want so you know what steps need to happen. It's not just going free flow. I mean, there's space for free flow. But executive functioning, executive planning comes down to being able to plan ahead the general gist of what you want and create a plan of action. So sometimes that plan of action, it takes sitting down and thinking about what the plan is. It just doesn't instantly come like this of a plan of action. That's impulsivity, which can be useful in places. but not in focused places. So when you're focused on achieving your goals, you take time to think about how it would feel when you achieve your goals. Or else, how would you know you've achieved it, right? If you've created a checklist, how do you know when you've achieved it? You would know based on how it feels. How it feels to finally get that thing. I visualize my desires through a lens of love and happiness. So when you decide what you want, as an example, I don't know, I'm working on writing a book. I'll use myself as an example. I'm working on writing a book. So sometimes you can get bogged down in all the details that happen when you're writing a book or writing a song or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, right? You can get bogged down in it and feel like, why am I doing this? By visualizing yourself achieving your goals, you keep your eye on the prize, as they say. You keep your eye on the end goal. And then you remember and think about, how would it feel to achieve my goal? How would it feel for me to complete my book and get it published? How would it feel for you to get that job, to get that promotion, to complete that song, to whatever it is that you're trying to do? How would it feel when you get that? Okay? And then take deliberate action towards that. Okay? The balance between how does it feel in the feminine energy, how would it feel to receive, and then take steps from the masculine energy to make those goals happen. Okay? And then with I am strong, what's really sticking out to me is I reject victimhood. So many times we get trapped in this, poor me mindset, this victim mentality. They did me wrong. I can't succeed because they did this. I can't get what I want because they did that. They made me feel bad. They said things that hurt me. They did things that hurt me. Yes, all of those things might be true. Other people's actions might have caused you harm. Yes, that is true. However, staying in the mindset that because this happened to me, now I'm stuck here, that's victimhood. And again, with the yin and the yang, if you're in the receiving mode of I'm just waiting for this to come to me and it's not coming to me and poor me and maybe it's not for me, that's victimhood. Because there has to be balance with the yang, the energy of doing, making something happen, working towards your goals, right? My strength is in knowing that all circumstances are temporary. Even if you're in a bad spot, you won't be there forever. Victimhood says, I'm stuck here and this is my life now. This is where I'm going to be forever. I'm always going to be the underdog. I'm always going to be the one who loses. I'm always going to be the one who doesn't get what I want. But you need to understand that your circumstances are temporary. Maybe you're not getting what you want right now, but that doesn't mean you won't always be in that spot. It's temporary. There will be times where you do get what it is you're aiming for. I focus my attention on what's in front of me. I naturally move forward into new phases of my life. So this is the balance between act and wait. So in the book, I'm trying to think of what it was. I want to say it's Chakra for Beginners or something to that effect. I want to say the writer is David Pond. So in the section on solar plexus chakra, your solar plexus is your self-confidence, your feelings of self-worth, self-value, also known in the Chinese mythology to be your dantian. In Kung Fu, they talk about it being your dantian, your power center. That's where your chi comes from, okay? Your solar plexus chakra, if you've got a balanced solar plexus chakra, you know when to act and when to wait. And I've actually got a podcast episode about that, when to act and when to wait. And in this, it's talking about being strong in knowing when to push acting, which would be the yang energy, and when to sit in waiting, which is the yin energy. When to act on what's been put in front of you, and when to wait for the opportunity to come forward. Because as I already said, you can't always be in a position of waiting. You can't always be in a position of acting. There has to be balance. You need to know that sometimes you have to wait for the opportunity to be presented to you and then act when the opportunity is put in front of you. Do I make this decision or do I not? Do I wait for the next opportunity or do I act on this opportunity? That's the balance, okay? I naturally move forward into new phases of my life. I focus my attention on what's in front of me. So you're being asked, a message of love from God is to know that first of all, you're not stuck here. You're not stuck. Ooh, there's the spiritual chills. Yes, I'm going to repeat that. You are not stuck. You have to see the opportunities in front of you and take action when it is appropriate to take action. Make a choice. If you do not act, you will stay where you are. If you don't take a step forward, you will stay where you are. Okay? So you will not achieve your goals if you don't take steps towards your goals. You must choose to move forward or you will stay where you are. And it's not as simply because life isn't giving you what you want, because God is telling you right now that is victimhood. God is putting these things in front of you for you to make a decision. God is putting the opportunities in front of you for you to choose to act. Free will is very important with God. You have to decide. God can't make you do anything. God can present you with the opportunities, and then it's your decision whether to take it up on the opportunity presented to you or not. Don't get caught in victimhood. That is absolutely the message that wanted to be said. Excuse me. Do not get stuck in victimhood. Do not get stuck in the mindset, I can't have what I want. That's not true. God is telling you, just wait. See what is presented and then act. If an opportunity is given to you, look at it. See if it will help you move forward. Even if you can't tell if it'll help you move forward. Because no joke, honestly, I have had opportunities that came to me where I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's in alignment with where I want to go. I'm not sure. And then I took the opportunity and said, oh, you know what, the heck, I'll take it. And it catapulted me in a completely different direction than I thought, but it wasn't entirely a different direction. It was still working off of what I originally wanted, but it was coming to me from a different way than what I thought it was. And to me, that's God saying, hey, I know that you have this idea of what path you're going to take, but I have a better path for you. Go this way. You can get your goals much easier. You can bypass all that hard stuff that you're going to do, and you can find a better way through this way. This is going to connect you with other people. Sometimes God presents you with stuff that doesn't automatically seem like it makes sense, but later on you look back and go, oh, now I see why I had to do that thing. So just act when it's presented to you and then make your decision to move forward. Okay? Any further messages of love for our pile number 2? What else do they need to hear? Really? Okay, we got to keep it short then. Please. I've been directed to the Tarot of the Divine, which has folklore in it. Okay. Was that the only card you wanted? The Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. Okay, let's start there with the star on the bottom of the deck. Things are changing for things that you're wishing for. Okay, let's look at the meaning behind the Wheel of Fortune card in this deck. So I'll show you the image. Okay, now this was in reverse. So let's have a look at the meaning in the book, what folklore tale is being shared. And let's see what we can understand from this. All right. So this is the story of, oh, it's a Nancy. Okay, I know this god. This comes from Ghana. This is an African mythology, okay? The Wheel of Fortune is endlessly turning, spun by a trickster god. What was once luck is now misfortune. What was hopeless is now joyous. These acts may seem random, but all fates are part of all fates are part of an interconnected web of repercussions. In reverse, it says bad luck, a lack of control, the past, misery, disappointment. Okay. So, let's dig into this a little more. Now, it is my understanding, through what I've learned about some of the African mythology, Anansi is a derivative of Aunt Nancy, which is I want to say a Benin a goddess. And it is betrayal is usually the message on that. And Anansi, okay, I'm going to share this little tidbit. If you've ever seen American Gods, or if you haven't, in the book/TV series American Gods, it was written by Neil Gaiman. He uses the character Anansi, and there is a scene that is very strongly in my mind where Anansi is on the boat with the enslaved people as they've been taken from their ancestral home in Africa. And they're being transported across the seas on this boat, and they're all in shackles, and they're all been told what to do. And they're all, there's despair, there's anger, there's resentment, right? And Anansi begins to get a few of them, like one person that can see him, get them riled up and saying, why are you letting them tell you who you are? There's more of you, and you are stronger than they are. Why are you letting them do this to you? They've thrown your women off the boat into the water, your mamas and your wives and your sisters. They sacrificed them, and you're just going to let them. Where are you not speaking up? Speak up for yourself. They've betrayed you. Where are you betraying yourself by letting them do that? Stop them. Do something. Don't just go quietly unto the night, I'm hearing in my mind. Rail against the darkness. And so all of the enslaved people on the boat, all of these men, realized, yeah, you're right. And Anansi says to them, they're going to take you, and they're going to take you, and you're going to spend hundreds of years being at their mercy. You'll never be seen as whole. And you're going to allow them to do that. Better to end your existence now here than to go and have that type of existence. So all those people, all those enslaved men, they work together and they rebel against their enslavers. And I want to say they burn the boat down and they sink into the ocean. However, they no longer become part of the tapestry of what happened to the enslaved people once they came to the Americas. What happened to them, and the disrespect and the lack of compassion, care, humanity that was given to them at the hands of their enslavers. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune, what we see is this, because Anansi or Aunt Nancy, either way, is the spider god. And Aunt Nancy talks about, where are you betraying yourself? Where are you allowing others to take from you when you should be standing for what you believe in? And with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, okay, this is saying disappointment. But I don't believe that this is strictly the meaning of this card. I believe that in the context that we've talked about, achieving your goals, taking action, rejecting victimhood, where are you keeping yourself stuck as a victim? Where are you betraying yourself? Where are you not speaking up for yourself and allowing people to put you in the place of being a victim? Where do you need to stand up and set a boundary and a line? Where do you need to get yourself out of the fire? Because again, the star is on the bottom of the deck. Okay? And the star is wishing on a star. What is it that you're dreaming of? What is it you're wishing for? What is it that you want? Again, focused on your achieving your goals through deliberate action. Where are you keeping yourself from achieving your dreams because you're caught up in this mindset that people have done you wrong, and now you're trapped in the web. You're trapped and stuck like a spider. Well, I guess like a spider's victim. Where are you becoming the spider's victim? And where do you need to take action? Okay? All right, one final message for us. It hasn't been a lot of cards, but it's been a lot of advice from God on this. One final message, please, from God. A message of love. Okay. Looks like we're being called to the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Okay. Final message of love, please, for pile number 2. And that one wanted to come too. Oh, interesting. You got 3 cards. You got mirror, who or what is triggering you. Oh, you got 4 cards. Star mother. How can you mother yourself? There's that star again. Wishes, dreaming. Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Oh my gosh, what I'm getting chills and a little bit emotional as I share this one. Sending the light, laying foundations, divine plan. And boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Oh my gosh, thank you, God, for these messages. This is, with the bottom of the deck is leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. Okay. So right here, makes sense with what we saw on victimhood, makes sense with the balance, makes sense with taking a leap of faith, makes sense with the Wheel of Fortune, where are you betraying yourself? Who or what is triggering you? What is the fear that is coming up for you? What is it? Pinpoint it. What is triggering you? What is really the concern? Remember, we talked about a fear of abandonment, or that might have been the previous pile. So you might have been called to pile number 1 too. But what is triggering you? Is it a fear of abandonment? Is it a fear of worthiness? Do you feel unworthy? Do you feel unloved? What is triggering you? And for what is triggering you, where can you be the mother for yourself? Now, when we talk about the mother, now here's 2 cards with the mother, okay? 2 cards about mothering. Now, here's what I want to say about that. Again, we're talking about feminine energy, right? The yin and the yang, right? Feminine energy. So we already said feminine energy is receiving, nurturing, compassion, kindness, observing, allowing, support. So where can you mother yourself? Where are you not giving yourself love and support? Where are you not giving yourself nurturing compassion? Where are you being too hard on yourself? Pushing yourself and then making yourself feel bad because you haven't achieved what you thought you wanted to. Okay? Yin and yang, give and take, when to push, when to wait, when to act, when to wait. When to be in a space of calm and peace and love and nurturing, and when to step out of that and push forward. Where can you mother yourself? Where can you nurture yourself? Where can you hold compassion for yourself? Okay. And then we've got Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light. So she was Mary's mother, Mother Mary's mother. Now, think about this for a second. Mary, having been a virgin birth with Jesus, okay? So as a person, to go through that, think about what that would have felt like for her. She has not been with a man. She's not laid with a man. She's not laid with Joseph. And yet finds herself with child. And the things that she would have thought about herself, the things that she would have felt about herself, the things that she would have questioned about herself. And then when God said to her, I gave you this child. You will be the one to carry this light, this savior of the earth. You will be the one to carry this and have the honor of doing this. And I promise you, she said to God, but God, what will people say about me? What will people judge about me? They'll say that I laid with Joseph. They'll say that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. They're going to judge me. What will Joseph say? He'll think that I was with someone else. And God says, this is my choice for you. This is my path for you. You can choose not to. You can make a decision for yourself not to. Or you can follow the path that I have laid for you and birth what this person, this existence is going to change people's lives. It's going to change how they see themselves, how they do things. It's going to change the world. You're going to birth something to an existence that's going to change the world. Now imagine she went to her mother and she said, Mom, I'm with child. And God came to me and he said that I'm going to birth a child who's going to change the world. Do you think Anna told her she was crazy? She would have been within her rights to do so, to say, hey, you're a little nuts. Why don't you tell the truth? You laid down with someone other than Joseph. Tell the truth. But she didn't. She supported her. She laid the foundations. And as being a good mother, she supported her child. She supported the divine plan. When Mary told her, I'm with child, and God said that this is going to be the savior of the earth. This is going to save people. This is going to benefit humanity. Anna said, well, if that's what God says, then that must be what it is. And she didn't denounce her daughter. She supported her. She saw the light. She seeded the light. She was the one who created Jesus. She laid the foundations, and because she laid the foundations in being strong in who you are and supporting the Lord, that gave Mary the strength to do so as well, given everything that she had to traverse. So you're being guided to trust in the divine plan. Trust that whatever it is that you've been given by God to do, whatever it is the goal that you've set, okay, that you have to be strong enough to follow through on. Are you strong like Mary? Are you strong enough to pursue what has been laid in front of you by God and do it even in the face of those who might speak against you? Are you strong enough to follow the divine plan? And if it's upsetting you, what is upsetting you and why? And can you nurture that out of yourself? Can you be there and support yourself while you move through those triggers? And your other card was boundaries. Where do I need to establish better boundaries? So this is also important. Where are you going to, if you are doing something that other people can't see, they can't see the divine plan. They told Mary, you must have been messing around, and judged her and spoke behind her back. I promise you they did, because humans are humans. And humans can be judgmental. And it doesn't matter that it happened in a different time. Humans are humans. And somebody judged Mary. Somebody spoke against her. Somebody said some awful things about her. That's just human nature. Did Mary believe it, or did she set boundaries? Right? Did Joseph set boundaries? Because people talked about him too. I promise you they did. Did he set better boundaries and say, hey, no, I don't want to hear that. You can't talk to me like that. You can't talk about my wife like that. Are you setting boundaries? Hey, you can't talk to me like that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to accept that. You can't speak to me like that. You can't treat me like that. I won't accept being treated that way. Remember that a boundary is not about controlling another person. It's about what you're going to do when your boundary has been crossed. What are you going to do when someone tells you you can't achieve these goals? How are you going to respond? And it's not about changing them or proving them wrong. It's about following the divine plan. Okay? Remember, the bottom of the deck says leap. You go first. God will catch you. So God is saying, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I'll open the way for you. Just do it. This is what I asked of you. Just do it. I'll make sure that it works out in the way that it needs to for you. Just do it. Stay focused on your goals. Stay strong in knowing who you are. Get out of the victim mentality. Know that there is change coming for you. Don't betray yourself. Don't give up on what you need to do. Follow the divine plan. Support yourself. Nurture yourself. And if it makes you triggered, what is it about it that's triggering you? Look at it and then love it. Nurture it the way a mother would. Love it anyway. A mother's love, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional again. A mother's love loves their child no matter what they do. I tell my child all the time, there's nothing that you could do that would make me stop loving you. I might not be happy with some of the choices you make. I might not be happy with some of the things you do. I might not be happy with some of the things that you say. But even in the face of not being happy about it, I will always, always, always love you. That will never, ever change. Nothing you could do would make me take that love away. Where do you need to apply that to yourself? Even if you fail, or at least in your human mind's perception of failing, even if you fail, where can you say, you know what, I love me anyway? It's a mistake. What did I learn from it? How can I grow? Okay. So my pile number 2s, I hope this beautiful message of love came to you. God is saying, I'm here with you. I got your back. There's a plan at play here. I got your back. Just go. Take the first step. I'll help you. I'll support you. I got you. Take the first step. Okay, pile number 2, take the first step. Okay, allow it like the shell to start small from the center and begin to build strength and momentum as it comes around and around and around. Allow it to build momentum as it goes. Don't let your dreams fall to the side because you feel like a victim. There is change coming for you. There is change. Take that leap of faith and step forward. Okay? All right. So I hope that this found you in the right place. I hope this gave you the help that you needed. If you need more help, reach out to me. We'll do a personal reading. I'll give you a little more personal guidance of what you need, okay? If you want more help on learning some of the stuff on this path, you can follow my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. It's called Get In, We're Going Healing. And if you feel called to, you can leave a donation or a tip. That stuff is in the description box. So until next time, my beautiful pile number 2s who are learning to find balance and learning to move forward on what they actually believe in, keep letting go of those things that are holding you back from being your best, your greatest, your most authentic you. Love and light. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile number 3s. If you chose this beautiful green, I think it's an Adventurine, then this pile is for you. All right. Let's have a look at your card. You got courage. So, excuse me. Something I'm noticing on this card, I see this person carrying a lantern, shining their light to show them where to go. And I see in the background this person here who seems to be trying to avoid the light. They seem like they're negative, attacking, discouraging maybe. With this card being courage, it makes me want to remind you that courage is not the absence of fear. It's being afraid and still doing it. Even though your voice might shake, your body might shake, you might be filled with fear the entire time you do it. But you face it anyway and you do it anyway. Okay? So this person here is shining their light, even in the face of darkness, even when it illuminates something that might be scary. They're still moving forward. Okay, so already to me, your message of love from God right now is, even though you're scared, keep going. Keep shining your light. Keep going. Okay? Where do I need to pull messages for pile number 3 for messages of love from God, please? All right, they're guiding me to the Angel Oracle. All right, so we're going to pull some cards from the Angel Oracle. All right, God, what do you want pile number 3, who are doing it anyway, even though they're scared? What do they need to hear? What messages of love do they need to hear today? Okay. All right. So your first message is inner voice. Thank you, angels, for guiding me through my inner voice. So already what we see on this card is we see this person who looks like they are angelic, maybe spiritual. They are non-corporeal is the vibe I'm getting. They are non-human, at least in this realm. And speaking to her in her ear, and she's listening. So this right now, this gives me the vibe of hearing your angels speak. So your inner voice, we often confuse our inner voice with being our conscience, a part of us, and it might be. But to me, the inner voice, when we get quiet to listen to the voices within us, we also begin to hear the voices of God, the voices of our angels, the voices of our spirit guides, our spiritual team. When we get quiet within, we can hear more. We can hear the guidance that we need to hear, what might be perceived as our inner voice, because it comes from within, not from without. It doesn't come from tarot cards. It doesn't come from readings or church or sermons or, TED Talks. It doesn't come from those. It comes from within us and guides us on where we need to go. So this is already telling me that God is directing you to listen to what your inner voice might tell you, which is going to give you more messages from God. And you also got move your body. Thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and energy. Okay, now what this tells me is that you've been stagnant too long. And now this makes me want to share with you a little bit about how the energy moves within the body. So in the, I want to say it's the Chinese belief system. You'll see in Chinese medicine as well. This is what acupuncture works off of. There are energy lines within the body. Sometimes they're called sun lines, sometimes they're called chi, energy bodies. There's lots of different names for them, but it has to do with the nervous system and the way that the energy flows through the body. Now, the nervous system, we often just consider it a medical part of the body. But if you understand what happens in the brain, when information passes down the nerves are like electrical wires. And they're plugged into the brain, which is like energy coming into your home. Like the energy that comes in through the outlets in your wall. And you plug in something, and then energy moves through the plug that was plugged into the outlet, from that into the cord, and then it moves up the cord to whatever it is to turn it on or off, to give it power. Now, the way your nervous system works is the brain sends signals through the nerves, which are the same way. It's an electrical impulse that moves through the body. Now, if you sit too long, if you are sedentary too long, what happens is the energy doesn't flow through those areas as well. There might be areas where they're pinched. If you're sitting, you're going to pinch stuff differently than when you're standing. There's going to be sections that are closed off a little bit more, so not as much energy moves through. Think about like when a leg or an arm falls asleep because you've had it in a position where the blood flow and the energy flow, the electricity flow through your nerves is minimized. It becomes dead, right? It's hard to move it. You can't make it do the thing you want it to do. The nerve itself has lost its connection to that area. And when it starts to regain and it gets pins and needles, little spiky sensations, right? So that's the energy not moving through the body. from an energy perspective, even though we're talking about it from nerves. Because again, as I said, the conductivity between the nerves is electrical impulses. That's how it's monitored in the brain. The brain sends an impulse down the line, down the wire, until it gets to the body, and then it makes it do the thing, right? Until the body part. So like when my hands do like this, because my brain told it, do like this, and it sends it all the way through until my muscles around my fingers contract to make the action that I want to have happen, right? So moving your body allows more movement. Now, this is true in a medical sense as well. Varicose veins are caused by body parts, often in the legs, where blood pools and doesn't push back through the veins, right? I can't remember the incompatible veins, something like that, where the blood doesn't go back up. So the way that makes the blood move is when the muscles of the legs contract and release around the blood supply around them. It works like a pump. And it helps to push the blood up through the nervous, through the veins and whatnot, into where it needs to go, sending it all the way back to the lungs to pick up oxygen, and like through the heart to the lungs to pick up oxygen, back through the heart, which is like the hub of all the blood flow, and then to wherever it needs to go in the body to deposit oxygen. So the varicose veins happen because the muscles aren't contracting. So the blood begins to pool and collect because it's still being pushed up, but it's not being sent up to where the brain or to where the heart is. So it starts to pool and creates like a pocket. The way to prevent varicose veins is through regular muscle contraction. So the body has to move. The muscle has to do what it does to squeeze and release, squeeze and release. So what I'm getting from this card is you're being asked to move your body more. But instead of creating varicose veins, what you have happening is energy pockets. And it's not allowing the energy to flow through the body properly, through the nervous system properly, and not just through the nervous system, but the energy itself to move forward with the things that you need to do. So you're being asked to physically move. Now, I will also say that in conjunction with the inner voice, one of the things for me, when I'm trying to hear my inner voice better, when I'm trying to hear my angels and my guides a little bit better, taking a walk does work. I will take a walk and I will throw out questions and I will ask for answers and I will walk and I will just listen for what comes up when I ask. And when I'm out in nature, there's signs. As I'm out moving, there are signs. So I feel like you're being asked to get out more, get and move your body more, whether that's physically at home, whether that's get outside more, whatever it is, you're being asked to physically move more, and I think that's going to help you hear your inner voice better. It's going to help the energy flow better through your body, allow the chi to move better through your body, allow all of the energy to move through your meridians and your sen lines better by moving your body, okay? Wow. You're also being asked to take time to breathe. Thank you, angels. I breathe with ease knowing you're here. So maybe you don't do breathing exercises. I feel like you're being asked to do more focus on breathing exercises. Now, when I say take time to breathe, now this image talks about like it looks like a vacation, right? On the beach, relaxing, being able to take a breath and calm down. Pair these together. What I'm hearing with this is that your nervous system has been overactive. And you need to bring yourself into a state of rest, digest, calm, peace. You can do that through things like deep breathing practices where you are focusing on the inhale and the exhale, where you are focused on the body, how the body feels as the air comes in and the air goes out. The actual sensation, whether you're noticing the chest rising and falling, whether you're noticing the ribs expanding and contracting, whether you're noticing the shoulders rise and fall, whether you notice the feeling of breath on your upper lip, the cooling sensation as you inhale, the warming sensation as you exhale over the top of your lip, the sensation of breathing. Take time to spend time in the sensation of breathing because that will help you hear your inner voice better. Okay? Maybe while you're walking, notice how your breathing is as you're walking. Be aware of how your body is breathing in this different space. Okay? All right. What else? Yeah, Earth Angel. Thank you, angels, for inspiring me to be more like you. So God is telling you that you are an angel put here on earth. You have divinity within you, and you've been put here to share that divinity with others. You are an angel on the earth. So if you are an angel on the earth, what does that mean? What do you need? What do angels need? Well, I mean, the first thing that I think that angels need is their connection to the divine, their connection to God. So are you connected? Are you listening? Are you listening when God is trying to speak to you? Are you shining your light in the face of those who would put your light out? Okay. Other messages from God, please. All right. Traditional Rider-Waite Smith deck. All right. We're looking for more messages of love from God. What else? What else do you want to share for our pal number 3 who are listening to their inner voice, learning to move the energy through their body, learning to focus on their breathing, and remembering that they are divinity embodied while being on this planet? What else do they need to hear for love, please, God? What else? Knight of Pentacles in reverse, things moving quickly. 7 of Pentacles in reverse, being impatient. Knight of Wands in reverse. Not a lot of action, not a lot of energy. Okay. All right. So it's interesting that there's 2 knights, and they're both in a reverse position. Now, the Knight of Pentacles generally takes his time and moves slow. And with it in reverse, that's giving me these vibes of things within the pentacles are things that you can touch within the material world. There sometimes can be money. They're not always money. They're things you can touch. So the Knight of Pentacles is things that you can touch, physically touch. And they are, the Knight of Pentacles usually moves slowly. This is in reverse, so things are speeding up. 7 of Pentacles is you've planted your seeds. But in the reverse position, this is telling me that you've planted your seeds and you're getting impatient. When are they going to grow? 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 Checking them over and over. When are they going to grow? Is it sprouting yet? Is it sprouting? Is it going to grow? When are they going to grow? And I'm hearing the phrase, a watched pot never boils. So you're being asked, quit checking over and over. You just got to wait. You just got to wait until it shows up. Just know that it will. Know that the seeds have been planted. Know that it will. But because we've got Knight of Pentacles, things are speeding up. You're still impatient. Things are picking up, but you're still waiting and waiting. And you're like, is it ever going to get here? Is it ever going to get here? With Knight of Wands, because you've been so impatient, you're not sure if it's ever going to get here. You're starting to lose hope. Because Knight of Wands is intense energy. Right? It's strong, purposed energy. Wands are energy. And the Knight is very focused. He's purposed. He's going in there. He knows what he wants. And he's directing. He's going exactly for what he wants. Okay? But it's in reverse. So it's like you don't know what you want. And you're not moving forward because you aren't sure what you want. There's things moving forward quickly with the Knight of Pentacles. Things are picking up speed. Things are moving in the material realm, but because they haven't become fruitful yet, because they haven't sprouted yet, you're getting impatient. And because you're getting impatient, you're losing your focus. You're losing why you're doing it in the first place. Okay? With the Devil in the reverse on the bottom position saying, let go of your addiction to things, let go of your attachment to things. Okay? What else do we need to hear? What other messages of love for our pal number 3? Yeah. You're starting to begin to realize that the way that you were thinking was causing you to stay stuck. 8 of Swords in reverse. So freeing yourself from a mental prison. Okay? You are beginning to realize that you were the way that you were thinking is what's keeping you stuck. Or you're going to realize that. Because again, You've been impatient. When is it going to get here? When is it going to get here? When is it going to get here? It's never going to get here. I'm never going to get it. It's just, I can't keep moving. I'm never going to get it. And then realizing, oh, you know what? It's the fact that I'm telling myself I'm never going to get it that's keeping me stuck here. That I can't do it. That's what's keeping me stuck here. Okay? We've got the 7 of Swords with deception. Hanged Man in reverse. Changing the way you see things. The Chariot upright. Things moving forward and getting unstuck. Okay. So there were lies and deceptions that you were believing. Now, whether it's for whatever your purpose was, okay? So this depicts someone who's come into the battle. They've come into the opposite enemy's camp and they've stolen 5 of their 7 swords. They've left 2 behind. And sometimes this card talks about avoiding conflict by taking away the swords. If you take away the swords, then they can't fight. Right? They can't fight and the war is won. Now, but this means this side wins by default simply because the other side can't fight. And that's sneaky. That's deceptive. That's lies. Instead of working out the disagreement, you've prevented them fighting. Now, there can be a good thing if what your purpose is by taking the swords, you're preventing them from fighting so that you can talk it out and reason and try to come to a consensus. That's sneakiness for a good purpose. Okay? But depending on the motivations of the person stealing the swords, if they're doing it just to be able to win, that's not so great. Do you see what I mean about intention? Like the person taking the swords, depending on why they're doing it, what their intention is behind doing it, makes the difference. Yes, the stealing of the swords is deception and sneaky, but are you doing it so that the fighting can be reduced and you can come to an agreement, or are you doing it so that you can win? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Because on the bottom of the deck, before I shuffled it for these cards, I saw the Lovers upright, a relationship. And then I didn't mention it, but I feel like this is in conjunction with that. Are you doing something sneaky for the purpose of preventing an argument so that you can work through your differences? Or are you doing something sneaky so that you can win? When you're having an argument, are you trying to win or are you trying to work it out? Because there's a difference, okay? In this, when it applies to the Hanged Man and the Chariot, okay? What this tells me is that there are deception and sneakiness where you need to change how you look at things. You're changing how you view things. Through this, I feel like in this case, because it's with this paired with this one, I feel like it's saying that the reason you're taking away the swords is so that, and I think in this case, because this is you seeing your way out, I think you are taking away your own swords. Again, swords are thinking. You're taking away your own swords so that you can find an amicable outcome because you've changed your perspective. Now, one of the things that I want to point out on the Hanged Man is this circle around their head, which generally assumes to be enlightenment. Now, enlightenment, in this case, because we're talking about God, enlightenment is talking to God and God giving you the answer. Going, oh, that's why. That's why. So I feel that there has been some deception, but it's been for the purpose of you going, oh, now I understand. Ooh, I'm getting chills as I say that. Now I understand. Now I see why the swords had to be taken away. Why those weapons had to be removed. Because it's changing how I'm thinking about things and getting me unstuck with the Chariot and forward motion, forward movement. Okay? So when we're talking about this as to messages of love from God, okay, what I'm hearing is that you have been impatient and it's making you lose focus, but you're beginning to understand you're the one who's keeping you stuck and keeping you from moving forward. As you see where you've been weaponizing things, you're beginning to say, oh, now I understand what I was doing and why I was keeping myself there. And that's what's helping you to move forward and get unstuck. So to me, this is again repeating this message of get out and move your body so you can hear your inner voice. Get quiet and breathe and focus on breathing so that you can hear your inner voice. Remember that you are an angel, but again, with Earth Angel, this also comes in with what I was saying about move your body, about getting out into nature, being outside, being with the earth. Okay? And it's going to help you see where you've been keeping yourself stuck in a prison, where you've mentally been keeping yourself stuck in a spot. And as you see where you have told yourself lies, where you have weaponized that to keep you from moving forward, as you begin to understand that and see that, you're going to make forward progress again. Okay? Anything else? Any more messages of love? Oh, thank you, God. You will regain your passion to move forward. You got the Sun, which is the happiest card in the deck. This is everything is rosy. Everything is coming up perfect. With the King of Wands, which is filled with passion, drive, focus, attention, purpose. Okay? So this is telling me the sun will come out for you on your purpose. You will get your drive. You will push forward again. You will be inspired towards action to create what you want, to create the life, the sun, the beautiful life that you want. But bringing it back to our first card, you have to be courageous enough to see the dark side calling to you, to see the swords, the deception, the lies. You have to be courageous enough to see it and then shine a light on it, see it for what it is, and move forward. Keep yourself moving forward, because as you do, as you see where you have been keeping yourself trapped, you have been keeping yourself stuck in these spots and keeping yourself frustrated, because that's what this feels like. Okay? Knight of Pentacles, this in particular feels frustrated. Okay? Impatience and lack of passion for something. This feels like frustration. You are the one who's been keeping yourself stuck in a frustrated position. You are the one who can bring yourself out of it. You are the one who can shine your light on it and bring more passion into whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest into your life. Okay? 5 of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Let go of trying to one up. Let go of trying to be the winner. Okay? God is saying, it's not about being the winner. It's about doing what's right for you. Okay? If your motivation to achieving your goals is so that you can be better than others, you can show people how good you are. And I don't mean this in the sense of egotistical, in the way of I'm better than you. I mean this more in the way of proving to others what your value and your worth is. Proving to them, see, I told you I could do this. See, I told you I'm smart. See, I told you that you were wrong. If that is your motivation, you're being asked to let go of that. Your motivation for success should not be proving someone else wrong. Yes, it does feel good to prove other people wrong. Yes, it does feel good to shove it in their face and be like, see, I told you I could do it. You didn't believe me, but I could. If that is your motivation, though, that is not the motivation God is asking you to have. Your motivation for moving forward is because you're moving forward on your divine path, not because you're proving someone wrong. Yes, that can be a motivator. That can give you energy sometimes when you're like, oh, I just don't want to do it, but I got to prove them wrong. It can be a good motivator, but these aren't messages from motivation perspective. These are messages of love from God. And so God is saying to you, don't be making these choices so that you can prove something to someone. Make these choices from the mindset of doing what is your calling, what brings you excitement and passion, what makes you happy, what is your inner voice telling you, what are your angels and God telling you. That is the direction to go, not because you're proving someone wrong, but because this is what is right for you. Okay? Any final messages? Okay, my eyes fell on the African Goddess Oracle. So we'll pull a goddess card and see what God wants to tell you from the feminine perspective. All right, last message for our pile number 3s. Final message from God for our pile number 3. Oh my goodness. This is my favorite African goddess to work with. You got Oshun with fearless love. Oshun is the mother of the mirror, the mother of the river, the mother of sensuality and femininity. She is unapologetically herself. She is embodied by sunflowers. And again, I believe we talked about the solar plexus chakra, knowing yourself. But if not, that might have been pile number 2. Her color is yellow, and yellow is the solar plexus chakra. Yellow is your self-confidence. Yellow is knowing who you are. And in all of this, given what we've seen, I feel like you're being asked to know who you are, to be fearless in being who you are. Oshun is very comfortable being herself. She's comfortable. She's the mother of the mirror, so she's comfortable looking at her reflection and truly seeing herself. She is the mother of sensuality, the mother of movement and flow with the rivers. And rivers are emotions. That's water. Water is connected to the emotions. The water signs are the more emotional signs. Water is emotions, feelings. So she's the mother of feelings. She's the mother of fearless love. Loving without fear. Again, courage, right? Loving without fear that's stopping you from moving forward. I consider her the more playful of the goddesses. But she knows who she is. Ooh, I'm getting chills again. She knows who she is. And she is not afraid to embody who she is. And I feel like that's the final message that wants to be shared with you. Do not be afraid to embody who you are. Do not be afraid to shine your light. Do not be afraid to be you. Okay? Do not be afraid to go after what it is that you want. Do not be afraid. Allow yourself to look at who you really are. Allow yourself to be who you really are. Because you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are funny. You are amazing. You are spectacular. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Don't be afraid to be who you are. If you get stuck and you're unsure, talk to God. Talk to your spirits. Talk to angels. Lay it at their feet and allow them to help you. Take your walks. Follow your breathing. Get out into nature. Allow God to speak to you through the many avenues that God uses to get messages through. Okay? Things are going to pick up for you. Things are going to move forward, but only if you choose to. Only if you choose to let go of the thoughts that are keeping you trapped. As long as you choose to see what lies you've been telling yourself and allow yourself to transform them. Okay, my beautiful pile number 3s, I hope that this message gave you hope. I hope it gave you guidance. I hope this is what you needed to hear. If you're looking for more concise information for your specific situation, send me a message. I'd be happy to do a personal reading for you. That's in the description box. If this reading resonated with you and you feel so called, you can leave a donation or a tip. That information is in the description box as well. If you are on this path of healing and you need help and more guidance, it's what I do. I have a podcast. It's called Get In, We're Going Healing. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. I share what happens to me on my healing list, on my healing path, so that it might help you. There might be something there that God wants you to hear that will help you where you need help. And so, where we are with all of this, I hope that this gives you some clarity and remind you that God loves you and wants you to succeed, wants the best for you, like any parent does. Any healthy parent. Let's give that on this path. So with that, I hope that you continue to let go of the things that are holding you back.